one of the problems with sitting through that speech was we had to listen to unrestrained attacks on basic civil rights. Like we haven't seen since the 1960s. When they start carrying on about DEI, you got to break that down what they're against. They're against diversity. Well, what are they for? Segregation?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
and they're against supply diversity, contracts.
Wait a minute. And if you have a problem with diversity, you can't do anything about it because they're against diversity. Now, put this in perspective. In Trump's last term, he appointed dozens of judges that would not say during their confirmation hearings whether or not Brown v. Board of Education was properly decided in 1954.
That's right.
Like, segregated schools is something that's up for debate.
Yeah.
Okay, they're against it and proud of opposition to diversity. They're proud of opposition to equity, which all that does is rings that old saying true that for those who are used to privilege, equality seems like oppression. So we can understand why they're against equity. And if you're against inclusion, what are you for? Discriminatory exclusion? I mean, these guys they just come right on out with it, just loud and proud against civil rights.
No question.
And we found out tonight they're not discriminating just against civil rights. The immigration policy, am I the only one that heard him say that he endorsed the Eisenhower deportation program?
Yes, sir.
You heard him. You know what that was called? You know what the name of it?
Is that Project Wetback?
Operation Wetback.
Yeah, Wetback. Right.
Now Google that and you'll find out that they rounded up about 1 million and some people, many of them citizens. And that's what he endorsed and got a standing ovation.
There you go.
So we're not the only ones he's after.
Oh, absolutely.
But we have to, if you're not interested in health care and access to college and nutrition programs and the budget, you ought to be interested in your civil rights.
Congresswoman Clark, final comment.
What we're facing, and I think for someone like myself and maybe some other folks from my generation, because born right after the civil rights movement, right? The idea of white supremacy had been something that we read about. We're in the midst of a real insurrection of white supremacy. And I think that there have been too much tiptoeing around the fact that this is what is going on. And so we have got to awaken and really enlighten it. And I keep going back to educating because like so many others that have come after me, the access to that information has been episodic. Those who were right in the, so I'm New York, so we Black Power movement. We weren't civil rights movement. It was a different vibe coming out of Brooklyn. So you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So we grew up with the self-image and understanding of who we were as Black people, anchored in that, right? There's a generation now that's a little bit removed from that understanding, from those sacrifices. And so being rooted in history helps you in a moment like this, because then you know what you're dealing with. Right. For a lot of other folks, it's entertainment. There's an entertainment value in it, and they figured out how to, I tell people, I compare the Trump administration and their sort of media ecosystem to the WWE.
Oh, no question.
Right? And our young people are entertained by it until they feel the pain. But if you're in pain all the time, you're not sure where that pain is coming from, then you can justify going in for more pain, right? So there's a lot of work. The CBC sees it very clearly. And again, we're looking for partners. And I said force multipliers because the way I talk coming from Brooklyn is a little bit different than how some of the young people in this room talk to their peers and maybe even talk to others. And so I'm going to need someone to interpret. You hear what I'm saying? For some of their peers, what I'm talking about and get them moving. Because in this moment, I remind people, I wasn't there, but I visited the monument to the young people of Montgomery. These were children who put their lives on the line.
Absolutely.
Okay? So let's remind our people that children put their lives on the line, and it's our time now. Because this is white supremacy in full effect.
Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there. Folks, I can't reiterate this enough. Listen to me clearly. I cannot reiterate this enough. When you've got technology companies running scared, when you've got legacy media not doing their job, when you've got black-owned media that is disintegrated, now is more than ever for us to have independent media that cares about the truth, that is willing to say what needs to be said. So when you support Roland Martin Unfiltered, this show, when you support the Black Star Network, you're not just supporting me, you're supporting the other shows. Our goal is to add 2 more shows this year. We want additional shows. We want more weekly and daily shows because we want to be able to speak truth to power. We want to be able to say what is necessary where other people are scared. And when you are scared, when you're looking over your shoulder, oh my God, that advertising contract is not going to come in. Well, guess what? A lot of these major ad agencies, they're not even supporting us anyway. You know, in 6 years of doing this show, Group M hasn't done a damn thing with us. Publicis hasn't done anything with us. You've got Horizon, you've got all of these folks, they haven't done jack. And so we are calling it like we see it, and we're speaking truth. And unlike some of these other so-called progressives and people who believe in truth, I'm not running around trying to kiss MAGA ass and kiss Trump's ass. I won't be going to Mar-a-Lago, not for a damn thing. And so this is about us being able to speak truth. So when you support this show and this network with your resources, that is exactly what is happening, because we are trying to build something that is bigger and broader, and actually it has the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it makes other folk uncomfortable. If you want to contribute giving Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. This is it right here. And if you are listening, simply go to blackstarnetwork.com to check it out. Also, if you want to see your check and money order, some of y'all old school, we understand that. See your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And again, folks, we've got some 4 million social media followers. If only 20,000 of our fans contribute at least $50 each, which comes out to $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day, that's $1 million. It allows us to be able to continue to build, to add these shows and do the work that's required. So your support is needed. So please join our Bring the Funk fan club today. If you've not already joined, if you have given to us in the past, please renew your commitment, because it's important that we support Black-owned media, because Black-owned media matters.